وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قالوا يا موسى إما أن نلقي وإما أن نكون نحن الملقين. وقال في شان حبيبه الكريم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمد معدن الجود والكرم وآله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله. Last week we discussed one of the stories of Musa alayhi salam as a basic instruction in the work that you receive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's revisit a different story of Musa alayhi salam. Specifically that story of Musa alayhi salam where having shown Fir'aun the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his mission to bring the Egyptian people to belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the deliverance of the children of Israel, Bani Israel. Having shown Fir'aun those miracles, Fir'aun immediately denies those miracles and then says, we will hold a competition between Musa alayhi salam, and the magicians of the country. And so all of the magicians come together, and really what we want to focus on is one small part of the story. Okay, but to tell you the whole story, they gathered together and they prepared over, the narrations say that since Musa alayhi salam, one of the miracles of Musa alayhi salam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had bestowed him with was that when he cast his staff to the ground, it would become a snake. So, having heard this particular miracle, the magicians were instructed to also try to do the same thing. So, different narrations say different things as to how they tried to imitate the miracle of Musa alayhi salam. It's said that they brought over 300 camel loads worth of sticks and ropes. 300 camels worth of sticks and ropes. And what they did was that they coated the sticks and the ropes with mercury. So what happens with mercury, if you look at the regular thermometers, the old thermometers that you used to see, in heat and sunlight, mercury can move up and down, right? It expands and contracts. So because mercury has this kind of nature, when you coat things with mercury and you throw it in the sun, it looks like something is kind of moving or kind of writhing, kind of slithering. So the magicians prepared this, and then they asked Musa alayhi salam, we can throw first or you can throw first. So Musa alayhi salam says, you throw first. So that's what they did. They threw their sticks and their ropes to the ground, 300 camel loads worth. Now this was in an open area. Musa alayhi salam told Fir'aun, gather all of the people together at the time of one of their festivals, when everybody was together, and in a very open area where there could be no trickery, no deceit, nothing, so that everybody could clearly see what was happening. So in front of all of these people in this huge field, they throw down hundreds upon hundreds of sticks and ropes coated with mercury, and it looks on the ground like the whole ground is crawling with snakes. So the people, they became fooled by this trickery. That's why the Quran says, وَسَحَرُوا أَعْيُنَ النَّاسِ. They bewitched the eyes of the people. They played tricks on the eyes of the people. And so the people were perceiving like this is a huge field, it's filled with snakes now. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands Musa alayhi salam, throw down your staff. So when Musa alayhi salam throws down his staff, the staff does not just become another snake, it becomes a giant serpent. A giant serpent. The narrations say that the distance between the jaws of the snake was over 120 feet. Just the jaws of the snake. And the length of the snake extended to an entire mile. It was an entire mile long. A mile-long serpent. So this serpent then proceeded to swallow up all of the sticks and ropes in one gulp. And then when Musa alayhi salam grabbed the snake, it became his staff again. Now, this is when the magicians who were trying to compete with Musa alayhi salam, they realized this is not magic. This is not sorcery. This is something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has to be. Why? Because they were experts in their field and they knew that they couldn't cause anything to appear or disappear completely. They could just fool people. They could play mind tricks on people. But when Musa alayhi salam's serpent turned back into his staff, the sticks and the ropes that were swallowed up, they were nowhere to be found. Completely gone, as if they had never existed. And they realized that this is something far, far, far beyond what we are in. And they uncontrollably fell into sajda. And they said, Amanna bi Rabbi Musa wa Harun. We believe in the Lord of Musa and Harun alayhim as-salam. This was this whole story. Two things that you can take away from this. The first thing is that when you have complete knowledge of something, what is the sign of complete knowledge? What is the sign of expert knowledge? Expert knowledge in any field will always lead you to Iman. Because these people were experts in their field, even though it was a bad field, even though it was a horrible, detestable kind of field of study that they were in, because they were experts, they realized that this is something far beyond what they can do. And they realized from the knowledge that they had mastered that this is something beyond what can be conceived of. And they understood that what Musa alayhi salam is saying is true. What Musa alayhi salam is saying has to be true. They realized this just from their expert knowledge of a bad field. Now imagine if we devote ourselves to expertise in a good field, how closer it would take us to complete faith, how closer it would take us to complete Iman, how closer it would take us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. This is the sign of true knowledge. True knowledge teaches you to be humble. It never teaches you to be arrogant. If we've gained a lot of degrees from education, if we've gained respect and admiration of people because of some knowledge that they perceive from us, and that thing turns us arrogant, then what we have is not knowledge, rather it's just another illusion, like the illusions of the illusion people in front of Musa alayhi salam. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, the knowledge that I have, is this true knowledge or is this just something that's there to fool people? Because if it's there to fool people, you are never seeking your knowledge for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Muslims, that's our goal. That whatever we do it for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever it might be. Whatever craft you have, whatever business you have. Pursue perfection in that craft. Huzur sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Inna Allah katabal ihsana ala kulli shay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed perfection on everything. Everything. That means just your recitation of Quran and just your salat. These are not the only things you need to be perfect in. And in this case, it's easy for a lot of you. That whatever field you're in, whatever field of study, whatever field of work, whatever field of business, whatever craft you're in, if you pursue perfection in that craft, that perfection will undoubtedly take you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will undoubtedly take you into clear faith and strong Iman, inshaAllah tabarak wa ta'ala. This is the sign of real knowledge. It might just be a little, but if it's perfect, it will get you to where you need to go. The second thing to take away is the way that these magicians addressed Musa alayhi salam. The way that they addressed Musa alayhi salam. They did not, though they were against him, though they were enemies, and though they were angry with him for him trying to take them out of the religion that they were in and take them to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, though they were upset, they still addressed him with respect. They didn't say, They didn't address him disrespectfully. They addressed him respectfully. They said, "Oh Musa, if you want, you can do your thing first, or we can do ours first." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way He words it, you may not be able to understand just from reading the Arabic or just from reading the translation. When you go into the deeper aspects of the language, you can see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is conveying the fact that they spoke to Musa alayhi salam with respect. This is another thing that takes you to Iman. Respect of the Anbiya, respect of Buzurgan Deen, respect of your people who have authority in this deen. Respect of those people, whether you have complete knowledge or not, that respect will take you there. So if you're worried, okay, maybe the knowledge I have is not perfect, maybe the knowledge I have is not true or real, your respect for these personalities is another thing that will take you there. It's another thing that will take you into complete Iman. And there's a third thing that I didn't mention. What's the third thing? Arguably the most important thing. That when these magicians fell down in sajda, what did they say? They did not say, "Amanna bi Rabbil Alameen." They said, "Amanna bi Rabbi Musa wa Harun." They did not say that we believe in the Lord of creation. They said, "We believe in the Lord of Musa and Harun alayhim as-salam." Which means what? That your faith or your belief in a single creator, this is not enough for perfect Iman. Rather, your faith and your belief in the messenger who brings you this message, this takes you to complete Iman. This is why Huzur-e-Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam has said, "La yu'minu ahadukum hatta akuna ahabba ilayhi min walidihi wa waladihi wa nasi ajma'in." Not one of you will completely believe until I am more beloved to him than his parent, his child, and all people. So if you're afraid that your knowledge that you have is not true, you have respect. If you're afraid that perhaps you cannot show respect, you at least have this love, this reverence, this acknowledgement. These three things from this story are illustrating how people who practice the worst kind of field imaginable, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted them into becoming the greatest of believers in the time of Musa alayhi salam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, if you're sitting here and you're facing this qibla and you are believing in this kalima, you already have a level of faith. If you show this kind of knowledge, or if you show this kind of respect, or if you show this kind of love and reverence, where will it take you in your place with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Your possibilities are endless, but you have to be sincere. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us sincerity in this deen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us sincerity in all of our actions and beliefs. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take us to that which is perfect and complete belief. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.